So Anthropic has recently rolled out this Claude Skills feature that lets you build specialized AI assistants for certain tasks within Claude. In this video, I'm gonna talk about different use cases you can use it for. We are actually gonna build one in real time so you can see how you can do it as well. So by the end of this video, you'll have an initial idea what can you use Claude Skills for in your own business and how to get started with building one. And if you want to build it in a community of like-minded people, make sure to check out the AI Solopreneur Club, where in a couple of days we're going to start the Build Your Own Claude Skill Challenge, so we can do it together. I'll leave it in the description below. Now we're in Claude, and let me show you how to get to skills. You go to settings in your Claude account, scroll down and press on capabilities. Now we're in skills and you can see a list of skills. Some of those are predefined by Claude. When you come in, there will be a bunch of them here. I found the most useful one is a skill creator. It's super meta, but it's basically a skill to help you create skills. And that's how we're going to get started to build our own skill. In order to start creating the skill, we need to press on these three dots next to the skill creator and say try it in chat. It automatically populates the chat saying, hey Claude, I just added the skill creator skill. Can you make something amazing with it? One way of doing that, if you have been using Claude for a very long time and you have memory enabled, you can just run it and it will suggest what kind of skills you can already build. Let's try this out and see what it comes with. So now it starts reading the skill creator skills to understand what it's about. It already knows that I have the AI Solopreneur Club, which is my school membership. I have YouTube content. I also have a newsletter, so things like this. So it already knows that, and then it suggests, what if we created a content repurposing skill? If you have been using Claude for a long time, try this first to give you some ideas. We are going to start again, because we wanted to create the skill from scratch, how we define it. So we try it again. Okay, and here it's really important that we define what is that actually that we want to build. So I already built like a YouTube skill that helps me with drafting everything from scripts to descriptions to titles and things like this. So I want to build something that I haven't built before. What I'm thinking in my head is I want to build a skill. I have a relatively good following on LinkedIn, but I haven't been posting for 2 years. Mostly because I hate LinkedIn. I hate LinkedIn intensely. I just feel like I get anxiety when I go there. I cannot read this thought leadership stuff anymore. To me, it's super inauthentic. I don't feel like people actually say what they mean most of the times, and it just really drains my energy. Because I went from being employed in corporate into becoming a solopreneur over the past year, I really want to start showing up and creating more educational content, but I definitely want to minimize the time I spend on the platform. I don't know if it makes sense, but hopefully Claude will help us to make sense of it. So what I want to do, I want to create this skill. So let's say every time I create a piece of long form content, such as newsletter or YouTube transcript of my video, then I can upload it here. And I wanted to create a LinkedIn post in my voice, like in my way. So we want to give it some clear instructions. This is the prompt that I wrote, and I actually pressed send before I was ready. Basically, I said, I want to create a skill for LinkedIn post writer. This is not a typical LinkedIn thought leadership type of post, but something that really gives unique value to others, shares my build in public journey, actionable insights, and authentic thoughts. It should be adjusted for trends of 2025 in terms of best practice, but please no thought leadership vibes. So now it basically started creating the skill. I already see that I have missed out on certain things. So what I would do here, I would upload my previous LinkedIn posts that I wrote myself and that I like and that feels authentic to me. Second, I will upload my tone of voice just to make sure, because I've also created that. And you can also upload like your ICP, you can upload the overview of your business, like depending on why you want to show up on LinkedIn, you want to give it context. And here we can press working file. And here you see, first of all, it finds what's working in 2025, right? So it creates this information. The patterns to avoid: generic thought leadership, humble bragging discussed as inspiration, corporate jargon as buzzwords, vague motivational statements, surface level listicles without depth. It buffed up the skill based on very simple prompt, did research, and really understood my intent behind that, and it created a skill. So all we need to do now is download the skill. We are going to go back to settings, capabilities, and we're gonna upload a skill. So we press upload the skill, and then we're just gonna drag and drop the file we just downloaded from Claude here. And here we go. Now our skill is live. So let's just try it out. So what I want to ask, because I forget to add something, I want to add my tone of voice to the skill, and it will actually update the skill. So if there is something that you want to add or change, you can just tell it in the chat. So it's updating specific tone of voice. It's updating the LinkedIn skill with that. Okay, so now it's added to the skill. Let's say you're doing some research, creating some reports, and you're thinking this would make such a great LinkedIn post. Then in the same chat, you can tag this skill and say, okay, based on what we're discussing in this chat, create a LinkedIn post covering this and that, those parts of what we're discussing, of what I'm researching, right? You can bring it in on any level, like in any chat. The difference between the custom GPT, with custom GPT, you always have to go on custom GPT. So you can't really add it to an ongoing conversation, to a research that you're doing, to strategy work you're doing. Let's just go and take one of my recent newsletters, right? So here's the newsletter, and I can just copy and paste it. That's what I send every single Friday. So I can say, this is my recent newsletter, create LinkedIn post from it. And then I just paste it. Now we're gonna see this skill in action. So you can see it opens up the LinkedIn skill. Not everything in your business should be automated. This is not a typical thought leadership, right? It's actually sharing my learnings. Everything that I described in the newsletter is packed with value because I want people to get value of it. I don't like the titles, and it's not perfect yet, right? When I see this, I'm like, okay, it needs to be sharpened. It needs to understand me more. And I think, again, like adding examples of LinkedIn posts that you wrote and you like is a really good idea. That's one. Second, if there is other kind of styles of writing that you're aspiring to, that you liked, copy paste these examples. So you can fine tune it in many different ways. And ultimately, you will arrive at the point where your skill is like top notch, right? So it writes exactly in the way you want it to write. It captures certain things. You can ask it to add CTAs where you want to. We can just, for fun, we can say, can you use a different framework? Okay, let's see here. I think I like this better. I like this version better. Still would ask to remove the headlines. And yeah, what you can also say when you upload your piece of long form content, you can say, okay, and this is my additional thoughts that I want to highlight on LinkedIn. The more thoughts you provide specifically for LinkedIn, the better. So I think I'm going to be trying it out. So let me share some use cases that would work really well as skills in Claude instead of projects or custom GPTs. So this would be relevant if you have a small business, you sell services, if you're a coach, if you're a creator, pretty much for everyone who's operating either solo or with small teams. The most obvious ones are within content and marketing. So it's automated content creation for like blogs, newsletters, social posts. You really have the ability in Claude to inject your tone of voice, the way that you want it to write, the things that you want to avoid. When it comes to client work, for example, if you are drafting a lot of proposals or you're drafting a lot of emails, this is such a no-brainer. A proposal creator will provide all the necessary information and create a proposal. Another cool one is you can upload a branded PowerPoint template or Canva template. You can create a skill that every time you're brainstorming a presentation or you created like some report, you can format that in your branded presentation, which is super powerful if you're creating assets that need to be shown and shared with different stakeholders. Formatting meeting notes, this kind of things. And I think this is a cool one. But if, let's say, you want to hire your first employee and you just want to create an SOP or training material. That can also be a really good use case. Will save you a lot of time, so you can just give it a lot of information and it will organize it in a simple SOP that you can later use to onboard your employees. You can do the same for client onboarding. You can do all types of automated reports and summaries. If you're a course creator, it can create, based on your previous courses, can create new modules in the way that you like to structure them. So all you would need to do is just a voice note of 10 minutes explaining what you want it to become, what you want to communicate and share and teach people in this module, and it will create this for you. Think of an intersection of custom GPT and project. So it should be repetitive enough to want you to do it in a way that is consistent, but it's not rigid enough that it follows a really rigid formula. So I think we'll see more examples. Right now it's pretty new and pretty underused feature, I would say, partly because I think Anthropic makes it difficult to actually adopt new features. They're not very straightforward in how you use them, but hopefully this video can make it a bit more simple for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to be part of our Claude skill building challenge in the AI Solopreneur Club, make sure to check it out in the description below. We start next week, but you can jump in at any time. It will be available in the community. Let me know in the comments if you have already built a skill or which ones are you planning to build. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.